Let me go to the phone lines. Talk to Brandon in Colorado. Hi, Brandon.
Yes, this is Brandon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
I had a quick question. I've seen some signs around my neighborhood about voting the Bible, and my question with a little bit of background is about how Christians should vote, because I believe that, God puts both Republicans and Democrats in places of authority, and even when I see those signs that say vote the Bible, it seems to lean towards voting for Republicans since they are anti-abortion. But lately I've been leaning towards voting for charisma, but just wanted to see what your thoughts were, because I typically use the next day's election results as voting the heart of God.
Yeah, well, I think the principle here is that Christians have to vote responsibly in order to preserve our liberal democracy. So we ought to be involved in the process, and we ought to carefully consider the consequences of our vote. So this is an incredible opportunity that we have. We still have freedom, and we ought to exercise that freedom responsibly. And I think one of the things that we ought to consider carefully is the difference between capitalism and socialism, particularly as it pertains to the poor. Which system actually helps the poor? Does big government do that? Or does freedom, where people hold their own resources and are able to expand those resources in order to help the poor, which is more efficient and effective? And of course, the alternative is the liberal democracy that the U.S. has embraced from its very beginning. It is the alternative to a socialist paradigm for running a nation. And if you look at it, our liberal democracy has historically afforded us the liberty to worship. I think that's a very significant point. It has kept the government accountable. It has allowed us as individuals to participate in the election process, and hopefully that will be a sane process. And of course, it accords well with the Judeo-Christian understanding of natural law. So it's important to understand that we have a great opportunity to continue to affect the lives of people around the world through one of the great nations, perhaps the greatest nation on earth in terms of the missionary enterprise, in terms of healing and helping those who are poor and downtrodden around the world. So we have to take into consideration, certainly, the issue of life. Francis Schaeffer called that the watershed issue of our time. But there are many other social issues we have to take into consideration, many other issues in general today that we have to take into consideration. There's a great book that we recommend highly that people read prior to the election this year. It's called Politics for Christians, and it's written by Francis J. Beckwith. If you don't have a copy, you can get one for your support on the web at equip.org, or you can write me at Box 8500, Charlotte, North Carolina, zip code 28271. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Bible Answer Man broadcast. As always, we're deeply grateful for all of you who stand shoulder to shoulder with me in the battle for life and truth. So long for today.